Hello, champions, and welcome back to PW English. And I am your Diksha, ma'am. So, the chapter that we are going to discuss today is strategies for enhancement in food production. So, this is a kind of a chapter. It has been distributed into two parts. One is the part of zoology, and another is a part of botany. So, today we are going to definitely, you know, what we are going to deal with. We are going to deal with the zoology part, as I am a zoology teacher. So today we are going to see how the animals are taken care of. So in this entire chapter, I'll be discussing about the dairy farm management, the poultry farm, apiculture, pisciculture, and everything about it. So first of all, let's discuss what is animal husbandry. What is the word husband stands for? Do you know here the word husband has arrived? So like ma'am's husband, take care of your ma'am, right? Just like that. The animal husbandry, so we want to take care of the animals here, right? So we want to take care of the animals here, so it's the rearing of animals. So what is this animal husbandry? It is the practice of rearing the animals or the livestock, taking care of it, fine. So what is the animal husbandry? It is the practice of, all right, it is the practice of rearing and also breeding. What is breeding? They're mating, they're multiplying. Breeding of livestock. What is livestock? All these cattle, all these animals are collectively known as livestock, the animals that you rear so that you can get products out of it, fine. For example, sheep. From sheep you get wool, from goat you get milk, or from your these fowls, these chickens, you get eggs, you get the chicken as well, right, the flesh, okay. And from the cattle and buffalo you get the milk, fine. So here the livestock consists of all those animals. So if I talk about the total livestock of this world, around 70% of the total livestock of the world, it is present in the China and India. So China and India have around 70% of the world's livestock. So how much China and India have? China and India have 70% of total world's livestock. So that's too much, right? So we have so much of the animal. We have so much of the animals. How much? Around 70% of the animals. Fine. But how much? Does they contribute to the world farm produce? Is just 25%. So they have around 70% of the all livestock of the entire world. But how much they contribute in the world farm produce? What is the world farm produce? That means what these organisms they are producing. So that contribution is around 25%. If you don't understand, it's just simple question or just simple example, not just a question. For example, the China and India, they collectively have 70% of the cows, and cows milk is its produce. Okay, so if I talk about the entire world's milk production, they are only contributing around 25%. So as comparison to the animals they have, that's really less, right? So for that you need to have different kinds of techniques where you can improve your organism, and that comes under the entire animal husbandry. So let's get started with the dairy farming, as we have discussed the milk. So let's discuss the dairy farming only. Okay, so in the dairy farm management, what kind of animals are there? So what kind of animals do we rear? We rear cow, buffalo, we rear goat and sheep, and all these we rear are for milk, right? So all these we are rearing for milk. And from milk, what do you get? From milk you get a lot of things. For example, you get cream, you get ghee, you get curd, right, and many more things. So these are the basic three things you can see at your home, right, which are produced from the milk. So these are the three basic necessity due to or for which you are raiding the animals like cow, buffalo, cow, goat, and sheep. Also, sheep is responsible for wool. Okay, so but the basic thing here in the dairy farm management is the most common milk that we drink is from cow and buffalo. So these are most commonly reared. These are the most commonly read. So, for example, today you get an insight that yes, today I want to start a dairy farming, right? So, what are the things that you definitely need to know? So, what are the things that one should keep in mind if a person is going for dairy farm management? The first thing is you should be knowing how to select a good breed, right? For example, if I say I'm going to start with this business of dairy farming and all, but I don't know the various breeds and varieties of cows and buffaloes. Will I succeed? No. So I need to understand what types of breeds are there in the market, what is their costing, and what are their needs. All right. So what type of food they eat. The very first thing is selection of breed. So always select a breed that is disease resistant. That means it will not catch the diseases easily, right? And second thing, it should be high yielding. High yielding means it will produce more and more milk. Why are you rearing the cow? Your basic purpose is to have good quality and quantity of milk. But if the cow is not giving you good quantity and quality of milk, is that there beneficial? No, that's not beneficial. Also, if a cow it catches diseases easily and cow dies at an early stages, will that be good for you? Again, not, because the purpose is again defeated. Fine. So whenever you're selecting a breed, make sure it can easily live at that climatic conditions. It is disease resistant and it is high yielding. It produces a lot amount of milk, okay, per lactation. Second thing, you should, for example, you got to know, yeah, this is the X breed, and now I'm going to the market, I'm going to buy it. But once you bought the cow or buffalo, where you are going to place it? In your bedroom? No, you cannot do it. So for that, you have proper shelter or housing. Proper shelter or housing. So what kind of a shelter or housing should be there for the buffaloes and cows? First of all, it is it is completely clean. It should be clean. If it is clean, right? Every animal in this world wants to live in a clean environment. So that shelter should be clean. Second thing, it should be properly covered so that sometimes the rain occurs and the animals should remain protected. And another thing is that it should contain, or it should be very airy, completely ventilated, and it should get enough sunlight, because animals, they remain stronger if they get all the proper conditions like ventilation and sunlight. We are also animals, we also need sunlight. Just like that, they also need sunlight. So their housing, their shelter should be clean, properly covered, right? Also, what I've told you, it should be properly ventilated. Properly ventilated. And also, if it is properly ventilated, there should be a proper sunlight. It will always be better if the owner of this housing or shelter should spray the insecticides or pesticide from time to time. There are certain insects or certain flies that causes a lot of harmful diseases to the cattle. So if we spray the insecticide time to time, it will be really protective and helpful for the animals to live there. Okay. So okay, so now what we have done, we also have given the shelter. You have bought a cow, now you have the shelter also. What the another thing, if you have a house, there is a guest in the house, what first thing that you do? You ask the guest to have some water, or what will you eat, right? Just like that, they are also your guest. So you will ask them, what will you eat? So the next point is their food. So what type of a food do they eat? They eat two type of food. One is a roughage and another is a concentrate. Roughage contains hay, fodder, and straw. It is rich in fibers basically. It is high fiber content. whereas the concentrate is high in protein. It's high in protein. What does it contain? It contains oil cake and seeds of certain plants. What are oil cakes? So you must have heard of oil like mustard oil. So wherever in the factories the mustard oil is extracted from the mustard plant, whatever left behind of a plant is converted into a compressed form of a cake-like structure, and you call it as oil cake, and that is given to the animals, and it's really really high in protein. Fine. So you can give two type of food or the combination of the both depending upon what is the basic requirement of the animal. Fine. So now we have given the food. Next point. Now, there must be a condition where your animal gets sick. Now, what will you do? You will take care of the animal. You will see whether the animal is vaccinated or not. If not, you will, let the veterinarian come, or you'll just bring the your animal to the veterinarian, and that veterinarian will take proper care of the organism, and we'll see whether which type of vaccination the organism needs or not. Right? So that's very important. That's really very important. One should take care of the health of the organism. There should be a proper visits to veterinarian, and there should be proper vaccination. So these are some of the points that one should take care when a person is going for the dairy farm management. So as we have discussed about the cows and buffaloes, if I'm taking about cattle's or talking about cattle, so what type of breeds do they have? Let's talk about them. So if I'm talking about cattle, cattle consist of cows and buffaloes. So in cattle, I'm talking about cow. So cows have three types of breeds. Cow breeds are of three types, or we have categorized the breeds, cow breeds, into three categories. The first one is a milch breed. What is this? Milch breed. Second one is one is your milch breed, another is your draught breed. Which breed? Draught breed. And the last is general utility. You also call it as dual breed. So the milch breed are those varieties or those breeds of your cow which have high lactation power. They give a lot of milk per lactation. Whereas draught are the one, it's T as well here. Draught are the one which are, very sturdy and they are disease resistant. So the bullocks, what is a bullock? The bull is a male cow. And when you remove the testes of the bull, that becomes bullock. And the bullock is used in the fields for, farming and all. Why we are not using the bull? Why we are removing the testes? Because testes will produce a lot amount of testosterone, and the bull is very aggressive due to it. So when you remove the testes, the bull gets less aggressive, and you can tell the bull to go there and here, right? Bullock to go here and there, but you cannot tell the bull to go here and there. You must have seen that festival in Spain of bull. Yes, or the bull fightings as well. So that's why these draught breeds, they usually use for the bullocks only, whereas the in milch one we see the cows, whether in this milch one we see the cows, they have the high lactation power, whereas a general utility or dual are the one which have both the characters, that they are high milk, the cows have high milk yielding power, whereas like draught, they are disease resistant as well. So the milch breeders, they have high lactation or high milk producing. All right. Whereas in the draught, these are disease resistant. Here we use bullock, are used for agriculture. Whereas general, they have both the characters. They have both the characters. Right? So the example of your general utility is Thurparkar. What is the example of your general utility? That's third Parker. If I talk about the Milch breed, if I talk about the Milch breed, if I talk about the Milch breed, the example is Gir, and the example of this is Malvi. All right, so depending upon what type of organism you want and what is the basic purpose of your need, you want for farming, you will go for this. You want for just lactation, you will go for this. If you want to see that the progeny, if the males are produced, you want to grow them as a bullock, then you can go for general utility. So most of the people, they go for general utility as well, right? Okay, so that's about the different breed. Also, if I say you are keeping an organism and that's the animal, right? And animals, they also catch diseases. It's quite obvious. Like we are animal, we catch the diseases, right? So they also catch diseases and they are of different types. They also catch diseases and they are of different type. So first of all, we will be discussing the bacterial diseases. Bacterial diseases. The bacterial disease, first one is anthrax. And anthrax is caused by Bacillus anthracis. So that's a bit disease which can also spread to us, right? To the humans. Okay. So what happened in this disease is it enters through the nose sometimes, and the entire blood gets septic. So there is, the entire blood gets infected in this disease. Even the organism can die easily. Second one is your mastitis. Mastitis. Itis means inflammation. So mastitis is inflammation in the udder region. What is the udder region? Udder is a region where the female's mammary glands are present. Okay, the beneath region. If this is the cow, okay, like this. So this belly region, this one is the udder region. Okay, so that's a cow. Yes, it also have horns. So some, I have drawn this in the another class, and the kids were saying that's not the cow, that's a cat, but that's Diksha ma'am's cow. Okay, all right. So that's the inflammation in the udder region. In udder region. All right. Okay. Now we'll talk about the viral ones. The viral ones. In the viral one, what do we have? We have the disease rinderpest. Rinderpest is also known as cattle plague. So what's the causative agent? The rinderpest virus. Simple. So what kind of a question can occur in your exam? They will ask you which of the following is a disease of cattle, and they give you example: cattle plague, mastitis, anthrax, syphilis. What will you say? Syphilis. That's our disease. Okay, so this type of question can arise from the diseases. All right. Okay, so this was all about the dairy farming. Let's talk about the poultry farming. If I'm talking about the poultry farming, so what type of animals do you rear in the poultry farming? Definitely, you all have answers. First is chicken. Another you have answer, that is turkey. Maybe if you have seen a lot of American shows, they make turkey on Thanksgiving sometimes, right? The entire turkey. And also ducks and geese. So why are we rearing these animals? For example, we were rearing the cows, the cattle for milk. Why are we rearing the poultry farm animals? First of all, the reason behind this is we are rearing for broilers, and we are also rearing for layers. So there are two words you'll come across in your life as well. Broilers are the particular type of shops, or it's a category where you eat the flesh or chicken of organism. They are usually the male ones, wherein the layers, they are usually the female ones, and they lay eggs. So there are two purposes of rearing these animals, one for broilers, one for layers. Okay. So what type of animals are you rearing? You're rearing chicken, turkey, ducks, and geese. So if I'm talking about the fowl or the chicken, what are the various variety that we rear? Like leghorn, like gallus, like your a seal. A seal is usually used in the fighting, and this was really famous in the Punjab region of the Pakistan. Even when the India was united in the Punjab, this was commonly seen, a seal or the cockfighting, right? So, in the poultry farm management, if I see, we are rearing these organisms, fine. Also, they also come across a lot of diseases. You must have heard of a bird flu. When the COVID arises, in the early stages, they were saying that's a virus like a bird flu, that's a virus like a bird flu. You must have heard in the news channels, right? So, what's that? Let's see. So if I'm talking about these birds, what type of diseases do they catch? What type of diseases do they catch? The first type of disease is the vitamin E deficiency, that's encephalomalacia. So that's vitamin E deficiency. So these type of organisms, when we are feeding them, and if we do not give them or feed them with the enough good food, they will show these symptoms of vitamin E deficiency, and that disease is encephalomalacia. So what happens in this? Whenever the word encephalo comes in biology, that means head. So here, due to deficiency of vitamin E, the brain tissue gets soft and later on they get like crushed and the brain it degenerates, right? Or you can say the brain tissues get degenerate, not the entire brain. So here what happened? Softening of brain tissues. Softening of brain tissues. Next is the bacterial one, fall cholera. That's again bacterial and that occurs due to Pasteurella. That's a bacterium. Then we have coryza that occurs due to again a bacterium, that's Haemophilus. And coryza, the organism, that's Haemophilus, it enters through the respiratory pathway and infect the entire respiratory system. Then next we have pullorum. Pullorum is a disease that is caused by Salmonella. It's again the respiratory one. Salmonella pullorum. It's again bacteria. These three are bacterias. Okay. Then we have the Rani Khet. In India, we call this disease as Rani Khet, commonly known as bird flu. And in the Western countries, we call it as Newcastle's disease. What do you call it as? Newcastle's disease. And that occurs due to a virus. And what is that virus? H5N1 virus. This virus causes the bird flu, and due to this bird flu, a lot of these chickens, they die in a group, in a huge group, they die at once, and it's a lot of loss to this industry. All right, so that's the different various type of diseases belongs to poultry management. Moving further to the next, we have breeding techniques to improve the breeds of animals. So how can we improve the breeds? So all that time we were discussing, we need high quality of breed. We need the cows that are high, which have high yielding power or something like that. But these are not always naturally produced. Sometimes we also do certain techniques by which we can increase the quality of the breeds. Okay. So how can you increase the quality of the breed? There are two methods. One, by using the conventional techniques. What are those conventional techniques? Animal breeding. Animal breeding. Fine. And second is the certain techniques, different artificial techniques to improve artificial techniques. What are these? For example, artificial insemination. These are the improved techniques. So sometimes you will also get the word improved techniques because these are scientifically done and something like that. And second technique is MOET. So we'll be discussing all these three. But before this, you need to understand what is a breed. What is a breed? Let's see. What is a breed? If I have a group of organisms like these, they belongs to same species, all have the same species S. But these organisms, they are different from the another group. Again, they are of same species. They are both of the same species. Okay, this group is this another group from species S, this group from species S. Both are of same species, but these have certain characters which is different from this group. So I'll say this is breed 1, this is breed 2. Okay, so what is a breed? It's a group of organism. They belongs to same species, and they are related to the descent means they have same ancestors, and they show similar characters like high milk yielding power, they are disease resistant, their look appeal is very same, right? So this is what a group of animal is known as a breed. So if someone asks you what is a breed, what will you write? You will write it's a group of animals similar in species, related descent, and have similar characters and have similar characters. These all organisms belongs to one breed. So the first technique is animal breeding. Let's talk about that. First technique is animal breeding. In animal breeding, what you say is we are mating the organism. Mating of organism. These organisms, they can be of a same breed, they can be of the different breed, they can be for different species as well. You get my point? For example, if I say one technique in the animal breeding is inbreeding. What is it? It's inbreeding. Inbreeding refers to the mating of more closely related individuals within the same breed. So, one is female, another is male. Both are mating and they both belong to same breed. Say it is B1. Okay. So, both belongs to same breed, that is B1. Okay. For 4 to 6 generation, they are related to 4 to 6 generation. For example, if I have two like one male, another female, one couple, and both ancestors are same, they are going to marry, and the both ancestors are same around 4 to 6 generation, around there they have the similar ancestors. So this is what inbreeding is. Okay, so if you don't understand this, just I have one very simple way to make you understand. If a male and female they cross, they will produce F1 generation, then F2, then F3, then F4, F5, and F6. This is how all the generations are formed. If there is a cross between any organism of F1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, there is a cross between the organisms of these 4 to 5, 6 generations, they belong to same breed, you will call it as inbreeding. What you will call it as inbreeding. Why we are doing this? Why we are crossing between the relatives? These are like relatives only, okay? They are near relatives. In a simple way, in layman language, I can say mating between near relatives. So why we are doing this inbreeding? For forming pure lines. If they have a very good character and we don't want some other will come and dominate that character, and that character gets suppressed during mating. For example, if I am bringing any other animal breed, okay, not any other animal, any other breed of the same animal, when they're going to cross, maybe its good character will get suppressed. So whenever you don't want to suppress that good character, you are making pure lines. What are you making? Pure lines. All these are having one good character, and that is going from one generation to another. If you let them breed with another breed, right, or unrelated organism, or unrelated to of generation, right, so then that character gets suppressed. But it contains a lot of disadvantages as well. What is that disadvantage? So why we are doing this? Because that character which we want in a pure line is homozygous. What is this? Homozygous. If it would be dominant, that we will not care about it, because dominant allele will always dominate. Okay, any of the breed will come. But since this good character is in recessive, it is increasing homozygosity recessive conditions. Okay, so what we are doing, we are creating pure lines by crossing the organisms of related generations of the same breed. We are creating pure lines by giving more chance to homozygous recessive characters. If we crossing between another breed may get the dominant allele, and that character will get suppressed. But while doing it, we are also allowing another homozygous recessive conditions that can cause diseases. So while we are giving chance to homozygosity, there may be a condition, there may be a chance that homozygous conditions will come up which are causing diseases. So both will go hand in hand. So this can be a reason of organism that they can get some diseases. Another reason, while doing inbreeding, there can be a possibility that animals will get infertile. Animals will get infertile because there are no variations occurring. You are just allowing the relative organisms to get breeded. Okay, so this entire negative thing is known as inbreeding depression. What do you call it as? Inbreeding depression. So let's read it. The breeding strategies as is follows: superior male and superior females of the same breed, which are same breed, identified and mated in pairs. The progeny obtained from such mating are evaluated, and superior males and females among them are identified for further mating. A superior female in the case of cattle is the cow or buffalo that produces more milk per lactation. On the other hand, superior male is the bull, which give rise to superior progeny as comparison to those of the other males. Okay, let's do it. If I'm saying I have a superior female, I have a superior female. Superior female shows more lactation. So that's good for me. And superior male is giving good progeny because it's disease resistant. Okay, we are taking that character of disease resistant. So when they're going to cross, they're going to form F1 generation, then F2, then F3, then F4. For example, here one female, one male is produced. Same here. Okay. So now what are we doing is we are letting these two mate. So that's within 4 to 5 generation. The mating is within 4 to 5 generation, and they all belongs to breed B1. The breed is same. So what happened while doing this? Homozygosity is increasing. Homozygosity is increasing. As a result, when the homozygosity increases, what will happen? There will be more pure lines, but there can also be more genetic diseases. And also there is less fertility. That means more infertility. So this condition where you're getting disease, you're getting all negative, you call it as inbreeding depression. Okay. So if you want the inbreeding depression should go, what will you do? You will go for the another thing that will be outbreeding. But in outbreeding, there will be one thing, that is outcrossing. Okay, let's see what's that. So one was inbreeding, another is outbreeding. What does outbreeding says? Let's see. It is the breeding of the unrelated animals which may be between individuals of the same breed but having no common ancestor for 4 to 6 generation. One condition is in outbreeding, we have 3 types of outbreeding techniques. One condition can be outcrossing. What does outcrossing says? Outcrossing says organisms are of same breed like in inbreeding, but they were not the relatives. They were far away relatives. They were not related. So in outcrossing, what happened? The organisms mate which belongs to same breed but non-related. So outcrossing is done when you want inbreeding depression to go away, right? So it prevents inbreeding depression. The negative things of inbreeding is taken away by this. And the second thing is crossbreeding. So what you do in crossbreeding, you are taking two organisms, one male, superior male, another female, and they both belongs to different breeds. Okay. So here, for example, the breed is B1, here the breed is B2. So the breeds are different here. In inbreeding and in outcrossing, the breed were same, but the difference was they were related and they are not related. Here the breeds are different. And the third one is interspecific hybridization. So all of these, they belongs to same species. Inbreeding, same species, same breed. Outcrossing, same species, same breed. Here, same species, different breed. But in this one, different species. The two organisms, the male and female, they both belongs to different species. What's the example? Example is mule and hinny. You must have heard about mule and hinny. They are usually seen in the mountain areas where because they're so sturdy, so they are used to carry up a lot of weight and move up, or sometimes the oh yeah, humans. Okay, so this is the outbreeding and inbreeding. All right, so these are some of the techniques which you can use to get greater varieties or the breedings. So we will see what are the various examples of crossbreeding now. Let's see. So the examples of crossbreedings. Example of crossbreeding. So the first example of crossbreeding is Husbandry. Husbandry is a sheep which is produced by crossing Bikaneri Eves. So Bikaneri Eves means Bikaneri female sheep is crossed with one exotic male sheep, that is merino rams. Rams are males. Okay. And this was produced in Punjab. So that's a sheep. The second one is Currant Swiss. Currant Swiss is a cow, and this was produced in NDRI Karnal. Karnal is in Haryana. National Dairy Research Institute. What's the full form? National Dairy Research Institute. Okay. So Currant Swiss, how was it formed? So the Currant Swiss is formed by crossing the Indian breed, that is Sahiwal, and Brown Swiss. And Brown Swiss is the exotic breed of cow from Switzerland. From Switzerland, right? So that's the indigenous. Indigenous means that belongs to our country, that is India. And exotic means that's from outside. So from where it belongs to Switzerland, right? Okay, so this was about the crossbreeding examples. So apart from animal breeding, what are the other improved techniques? These are actually the controlled techniques. What are these? These are controlled techniques. Whenever I'm talking about controlled techniques, that means we have done in the artificial conditions. We have a control on them. We have done these in the artificial conditions. Okay. So the first technique is artificial insemination. So what is artificial insemination? In artificial insemination, we deposit the semen. The semen is collected from the male, that is bull. So bull semen is collected and then it is artificially, it is deposited artificially in the female's reproductive tract. Usually during mating, the male deposit the semen into the female, right? But that's a cumbersome process, letting two, different organisms or different, not organisms, two sexes mate, right? Also, sometimes some have only female, others have only male. So at that time, what doctor does, a veterinarian, they will take up a semen of the bull and they will deposit into the female tract. The benefit of this is this will ensure that the fertilization will take place. And second thing, from the bull it releases a high amount of semen. So from that semen, you can inseminate a number of cows. Fine. So that's a win-win situation. So what they do is they take up the semen of the male and deposit artificially into the female's reproductive tract. So artificial insemination is deposition of male or bull semen into female reproductive tract artificially. All right. So you must be thinking, ma'am, this one we have also done in the reproductive health. Absolutely correct. This is the same. Another technique is MOET. Another technique is MOET. That's a very important technique because that's a topic from where the question can arise. MOET, multiple ovulation embryo transfer. Embryo transfer. So what is this technique? So what we does is we take the female and we inject the female with FSH. So when we inject the female with FSH, the follicle stimulating hormone, she will produce a number of eggs at a single time. Usually, 2 or 3 eggs are produced at a single time. But here, when you give a lot of FSH, she will produce around 6 to 8 eggs per ovulation. See how much. Then what we do, we will artificially inseminate the cow, or we will let the normal insemination also, any of the choices. After insemination, the sperm will enter into the female, right? Now, egg and sperm will meet and they will become embryo. What will they will become? They will become embryo. Now, that embryo is taken out from the female non-surgically, okay, with the help of instruments or it's something like that, with the help of hand only. Now they will take out those eggs, the doctor will take out those eggs, and then these eggs are deposited into another female, not the same, another female, which is a surrogate, right? So what we does, we have taken a super female. Super female is the one which have very good characters like more lactation, disease resistant, like that. Now we inject FSH. As a result, she will produce 6 to 8 eggs per ovulation. Now what will happen? Now we will let the fertilization to happen. And what is formed? The zygote. And from zygote, what is formed from zygote? 8 to 32 cell embryo. Now these embryos, they are transferred into surrogate. Into surrogate. So why aren't we just letting that cow to get pregnant and have babies? Because we don't want that cow to get for get booked for a lot of months, right? Because that's a superior cow and we want that cow to get ready for the another set of ovulation. So like this, we are taking eggs from this one and we are letting other cows which have not such good characters, we are letting them to get pregnant and give birth to the babies which are surrogate mothers or surrogate cows, right? So this is how these different techniques, animal breeding, artificial insemination, MOET, that are helping us a lot in producing new breeds and good breeds of animals. All right, let's move further to the next. The apiculture. What's apiculture? The api word comes from apis and apis means honey bee. So apiculture is the rearing of honey bee. So what are the honey bees that we know are the famous ones, right? So the most, the common one in India is Apis indica. That's Indian bee. That is Indian bee. So if the question arises, which is the most common, which is the most common bee in India, honey bee in India, you will say Apis indica. Next, we have Apis mellifera. Apis mellifera, it belongs to Italy, so it's the Italian bee. And it's in Europe, so you also call it as European bee. Fine. Another, we have Apis florea. That's the little bee. That's the little bee. And then we have Apis dorsata, the most furious one. It is, the one which have a lot of anger in it, and that's the rock bee. Next, we have, why are we rearing these bees? The apiculture is the rearing of honeybees. Why are we rearing them? Because we need products. And what are these products? One is honey, another is bee wax, and also they are good pollinators. The honeybees, they are good pollinators. What do they pollinate? They pollinate flowers, right? What happens is the honey is produced from nectar of the flowers. So that's why you will always see the honeybees, they are like flying around, roaring around the beautiful flowers. So they collect the nectar from the flowers and then they convert it into honey. And the bee wax is produced from the abdominal glands of the honeybee, from abdominal glands. That's why we say it's a true product. The honey is not a true product. Why? Because it is not formed from its body part. Whereas bee wax is formed from its body part. That's a gland. Whereas they are good pollinators because when they go to the flowers for pollination, sorry, when they go to the flowers for collecting nectar, for producing honey, also they collect certain pollen with it. And when they sit on one flower to the another, they are going to transfer the pollens from one flower to the another, and this is pollination. So the favorite flowers of the plants of the honeybee is sunflower. What is its favorite plants? The favorite plants are sunflower, brassica. Brassica is mustard. What is brassica? It's mustard. So these are the favorite flowers honeybee, where it goes and collect the nectar and in turn pollinate these flowers, and also apple and pear. So while you are traveling around, countryside from one city to another, you have to pass through the country or the villages, right? So there you see a lot of, big lands, farms, fine. So in those agricultural lands or farms, you see the white color boxes around the road in the agriculture fields only. What are these white boxes? These are artificial beehives. So the house of honeybee are beehives. So there are certain beehives that are produced by honeybee itself, and then there are artificial beehives which are produced by the human, and you keep them. The artificial beehives are white color boxes that you keep them around your agriculture land where you're growing certain plants. For example, you're growing mustard there, and mustard, when it will flourish and the flowers bloom, you just keep at that time all these artificial beehives. So what are we doing? We are giving nectar, a food source to your honeybees, and we are also giving them the permanent home as well, right? Artificial home. So they will pollinate the flowers and they will live in your beehives. So from that you will remove the plates of that artificial beehive and take out all the product, fine. So while you are doing the apiculture, what are the things that you should keep in mind? Just like the dairy farm management you were doing. So just like that, you also have to, you get to know about the bees. If you don't know what type of a bee you want to rear, you will never understand the apiculture. Because there are certain types of bee. For example, I've told you there is Apis florea. It's a little bee. Apis florea, it's a very small bee and its yield is very low. Whereas dorsata, it have the largest beehive and its yield is very much higher than the other ones. But the dorsata, it's very angry bee. You cannot rear it, you cannot work with that bee because it will sting you around and you can even die. So that's why mellifera and indica are the best bees to rear or to use in the in the apiculture. So first thing that you need to know is you should know about the species of bees. Species of bee, right? Second thing, you should know about the swarm. What is swarm? Group of bee. How do they move? Where do they move? You should know about the flowers or plants where the honeybees goes, their favorite flowers. For example, there are no flowers around and you have kept the artificial beehive there. Is that of any use? No, it will always be of the use. If you keep it near the flowers or the agricultural land, you will get the better types of bees and better chances of bee to get into your beehive, right? Also, you should know how to keep the products of the honeybee. Okay, how to keep the products and how to extract the products. For example, I started this apiculture and I started putting down all these artificial beehive. And later on, I realized that I'm feared of these bees. I will not go and touch the beehive because I'm fear of that. But if I have proper knowledge, I'll get to know that there are certain suits that you wear and the bee cannot sting you, right? That's a better way. So I need to know how to extract those products. Fine. And if you see, this is really, cheaper kind of a culture. Why? Because there is not so much of investment you need. You just need some beehives and certain fields where the plants grow or the flowers grow. And you also don't need a lot of people out there to work on it. For example, in a lot of industry, you need a lot of manpower. But this industry, the apiculture, it is not labor intensive. That means you do not need a lot of people out there. You need one or two like man force which can easily work for you. Okay, all right, so this is about the apiculture, the rearing of honeybee. Let's talk about the aquaculture. So what is aquaculture? Aquaculture is the rearing of aquatic organisms. So when I'm saying the rearing of aquatic organisms, I am talking about plants as well as animals. So you will say, okay, ma'am, animals is fine, fish. What about plants? What are those aquatic plants that we need? Yes, don't you eat lotus stem? Yes, you eat. Don't you eat these, algae? Yes, you do eat. In sushi, we have that seaweed, the green color. Yes, also in the jellies, we use agarose of red algae. Also, like trapa that you eat. Yes, so all these are aquatic plants. You also rear the aquatic plants as well. So that's the aquaculture, rearing of aquatic organism, both plants as well as animals. But when I'm talking about fisheries, when I'm talking about the word fisheries, so there are three terms basically. One is aquaculture, one is fisheries, and another is pisciculture. So aquaculture is the rearing of aquatic animals. Fisheries is the rearing of aquatic animals. Aquatic animals. So when I'm talking about aquatic animals, I'm talking about the fishes, I'm talking about the squids, I'm talking about all the oysters, octopus. So people eat a lot of seafood. So when I'm talking about the fisheries, I'm talking about the capture and rearing, both, even capture and rearing of both the aquatic organisms. So you have seen some people going through the oceans and rivers and capturing a lot of oysters, octopus, squids, cuttlefish, and a lot of things like that. So all those include the fisheries. Whereas in pisciculture comes from the word pisces, and pisces means fishes. So that's the rearing of fishes only. Rearing of fishes only. So it's also one of a very great industry in our society. For example, you must have heard of the word green revolution. The green revolution came for the revolution of all these plants for food, right? Whereas the blue revolution is a revolution for your aquatic organisms, especially the fishes, right? So whenever anyone asks you the blue revolution is related with, you will say it is related with your aquaculture. Okay, all right. So if I talk about the fishes in aquaculture, what type of fishes do we eat? So fishes are of two types. One are the fresh water fish and another are the marine water. Fresh water and marine water. If I'm talking about the freshwater fish, you must have heard of the common carp. So these are the fishes people eat. So most of you must eat fish. So while you're eating the fish, you should know what fish you are eating, right? Rohu, you also eat rohu, you also eat katla, right? And then if I'm talking about the marine water fishes, we have hilsa, mackerel, pomfret, sardine. So these are some of the marine fishes. So these are some of the common fishes that people eat nowadays, even the salmon. Okay. So eel as well as eel. So all these fishes people eat, and these are most of the commonly reared fishes. So how do we rear a fish? How do we rear a fish? First of all, what we do is we take one female and two male fish. One female and two male fish, like this. We give them the injections of FSH so that both will produce a lot of gametes. The female will produce a lot of eggs and male will produce the sperms. Both the egg and sperm will fuse and it will form zygote. And it will form zygote. So this is a zygote. So all these occur in some, you must have seen in the rivers or all, in the breeding harpas. What are breeding harpas? They are like, fish nets, square shaped fish nets. They're tied to the sticks of, to the all side. For example, this is a river. This is a river. You can find that in the river side, there are four sticks like this, and there a cloth is hanging like that, like that. So these are known as breeding harpas. So breeding, this is breeding only. So in the breeding harpas, the fertilization takes place. And these are then transferred into the glass jars. So these are glass jars. In the glass jar, they are going to hatch, and they will hatch into small, small fishes. And these small, small fishes are known as, yes, these are fish, okay? So I'm making these as fishes. So small, these fishes are fish fries. So what are these? Fish fry. So from fish fries, you will, from this glass jars, these fish fries will be, transferred to the nursery ponds. So ponds, you understand, these are just small water bodies, artificially made as well. In the nursery ponds, the fish fries will be converted into fingerlings. Fingerlings also are small fishes. They are small fishes. Okay, so that's a fish. Now they are going to get transferred to rearing pond. In the rearing pond, they are going to get into, double of their sizes. And in the rearing pond, they have become the adult fish. And then you will send them into the stocking pond. And in stocking pond, you are going to collect the fishes and you are going to market them in the market. Okay, so that's about the aquaculture and apiculture. Let's do some of the questions, guys. So the first question is, the advantage of inbreeding in animal husbandry is that it increases homozygosity, increases heterozygosity, improve the breed with a single step, causes deletion of superior gene. What will be the answer? It's quite simple. Hurry up. Very, very simple. Yes, it's quite simple. Whenever we are doing inbreeding, we are mating the organisms of the same breed and related organism. As a result, the homozygosity will increase because we are producing pure lines here. So answer will be 1. Next question. In MOET, the cells are recovered at what stage to be transferred into surrogate mother? 6 to 8 cell stage, 10 to 12 cell stage, 8 to 32 cell stage, 2 to 3 cell stage. So in MOET, you are transferring the embryo to the surrogate mother. At which stage? 8 to 32 cell stage. So answer is 3. Next question. Which of the following diseases is caused by a protozoan? Blastomycosis, syphilis, influenza, and babesiosis. So this is a disease which is caused by babesia, and babesia is a protozoan. Okay, and this one, blastomycosis by mycoplasma. All right, syphilis, you know, you have done in the reproductive health, and influenza is a flu. Next question. Homozygous pure lines in cattle can be obtained by mating of related individual of the same breed, mating of unrelated individual of the same breed, mating of individual of different breed, mating of individuals of different species. Okay, so they're asking you have to make pure lines, and that is formed by inbreeding. So there is one of a definition of inbreeding. When you're talking about different species, it's inter-specific hybridization. When you're talking about mating of individual of different breeds, that is crossbreeding. When you're talking about the mating of unrelated individual, that means they're not relatives, they're far away from 4th to 6th generation. So that is your outcrossing. Whereas when they are related, you call it as inbreeding. So what will be the answer, guys? Answer 1. 1 is the correct answer. Next. Which of the following is viral disease of poultry? Pasteurellosis, Salmonellosis, Coryza, Newcastle disease. So you have to find which of the following is a viral disease. All are the diseases of poultry. This is the another name of fall cholera. This is another name of pulorum. Okay. Coryza we have done due to Haemophilus. All these are bacterial. All these are bacterial. Whereas Newcastle's is a bird flu. And you know the bird flu occurs due to H5N1 virus. So answer is fourth. The fourth is the correct answer. Next. That's it. So this was all about strategies. I hope you have find this chapter as an interesting one. I'll take your next classes of the another chapters. Till then, stay blessed. All the best. Lost of love.